What's going on? Appreciate you clicking on the video. Today I think I'm gonna share a little story that someone shared with me that I work with. Pretty crazy. It is a guy named Jose. Um, he was on my crew at work probably 2 years ago. He was 18 years old. He don't work with me no more, but he barely knew any English, so I would speak to him through like Google Translate. And I'm the type to, if I'm working with you, we're gonna spend a lot of time together. So I try to like get to know you and uplift you, boost your spirit, boost your confidence. No matter how I'm feeling, I'm gonna try to make you feel good about who you are or whatever. I'm just that kind of person. So I'm talking with him, and he was telling me about his life and this and that. And I'm the type that probably tries to get to know too much information. So I was like asking him, "Are you legal?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "So you don't have a visa, you don't have, any papers, green card, whatever it is," he's like, "No." He's like, don't you call them people on me." I said, "Man, I ain't like that." But he was telling me a story, like how he got here. And he was saying that where he lived in Mexico was actually like a 3-day walk from the border or to the border. Um, and when he was 16 years old, him and like 10 people, he says, gathered up. They all got backpacks, somebody's carrying water, a few of them carrying water, a few of them carrying like crackers and, stuff that they can eat on the walk. They got like machetes and spears and sticks and stuff to try to like, if any animal or something tries to attack them, and they just get on this walk from where they're from to the border, and they're like walking for like days. Well, they get like a day in, and they stop somewhere in this like area where it's woods basically, and they sleep. And one of them has to stay awake. you know they take turns sleeping, he says. One of them has to stay awake to like keep watch. And while they were sleeping, one of the people with, the guy I was working with, Jose, said that he heard something like in the leaves, like crunching. So he starts waking him up, and he said there was this big cat. I don't know what it was, but he said it was like probably a mountain lion or something. I don't know, but he just said big cat. Um, I'm speaking through Google Translate this whole time, and he's like, yeah. So we all wake up, and we just start making noise, and we're trying to like shoo this cat off, and eventually the cat, gets out of there. But he said they all got their sticks out, and they're just, all close bunched up to each other, like ready to like survive against this wild animal, which is crazy. They're like a day's walk into the woods away from everything, and just sleeping, and here comes this bobcat or whatever kind of cat it was. But he said they didn't go back to sleep. They all just stayed awake, talking to each other, looking around until the sun came up. When the sun came up, they ate some crackers, ate a few whatever they had, drank some water, and then got back on the walk. And they walked for another day, and meanwhile he's telling me on the walk he's seen like bodies of people that tried to make that walk to the border and cross the border into America but didn't make it. Like, probably passed out. Like, it was just skeletons he said he's seen. Like human skeletons of, I guess, people that might have been ate by an animal or passed out from, dehydration, or I don't know. He just said, they just died on the walk. They died, trying to make that journey to America, which is crazy, man. But he was 16 at the time, so he's like telling me it was really scary to him. And he makes the walk. They're two days in now, and they're just seeing skeletons and wild animals, coming at them and this and that. And they eventually get like a couple miles away from the border, and they know they're almost there. And it starts getting like busy to where they're seeing like the border patrol people, I guess, on both sides of the fence or the wall or whatever you want to call it. He wasn't explaining a whole lot about that, but he was like they were, probably 2 hours away, an hour away from the border, and they start seeing more traffic and people wise, and they got nervous, so they took like an alternate route, like going kind of like around. They thought it wouldn't be more traffic. Well, they ended up getting spotted before they got to the border. And the Mexican government, or whoever, he said something like police or Mexican government, caught them. And they, pretty much took them back to where they were from, and he had to stay in jail for 6 months. And he said, they didn't have anything with them to be considered, hey, I'm about to jump the border, like I'm about to, go to America. But they figured, since they had all the backpacks and, it was all of them together, there was 2 of them that didn't get caught. He said 2 of his friends didn't get caught and made it across. But there was like 6 or 7 of them or whatever that got taken back to the jail. They stayed in the jail for 6 months, and they only gave them crackers 3 times a day and water. Whenever you wanted water, they'll give you water. So that whole time in jail, like, he's only got that. And eventually they let him out. And I don't know if that's true or not, the crackers 3 times a day, but that's pretty harsh if it is. But he said he was having stomach pain and headaches in there. He thought he was gonna die and this and that, but eventually they let him out, and then he went back to his where he lived in Mexico, and he started working out, getting right, eating better, gaining weight back for like 3 months, 2 or 3 months. And eventually, he tried to get his buddies that he got locked up with to try again with him, but they said no, they're not doing it. So he did it by himself. And he was 16 years old. No, he might have been 7. I think he said he was 17 when he tried again. And it's crazy that he finally made it across by himself. There's my boss right there. Not boss, but supervisor, if you want to call it. Look at him looking at me. We're on lunch break right now, but yeah, he was telling me he finally made it across. And he finally made it across. And he had got caught by the cartel on the other side. And the cartel took him to go work for him until he made up $5,000 to give them. Then they let him go. Then he went to Georgia, started working in Georgia, bought a car, and then he moved to South Carolina because he met friends on Facebook in South Carolina. And then he eventually started working here. He was like 18, almost 19, where I work at. But just to think about like having to go through that to get to America is insane. But man, that's crazy. But the life that he lived in Mexico was insane. Like, he was telling me where they work, like his parents work, his uncles, cousins, all that. They all work like 10 to 12 hour days, hard labor doing stuff in Mexico. But they only make like what would be considered $20 here in United States, like a day. So they work 12-hour days and make $20. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. They work over here, you can make 100, 200, 250 a day, depending on how much you make. But that's why, a lot of them try to make that journey and come to America, because, it sucks over there considering that. But yeah, that's just a little story I wanted to share, man. Thank y'all for listening. If y'all got any stories, I got more stories, but that's just one of them. I've been working with Hispanics for 13 years now, so you can only imagine what I've gotten out of them. But yeah, please subscribe if you've listened the whole video. If not, cool. Hit the like button or the dislike button, whatever you like, man. But you get to give, you know what I'm saying? Generosity goes a long way. Spread positivity. Love you guys.